Welcome back to the Vale Echo, where we uncover the mysteries that hide in plain sight. Today we begin a story that baffled all of Australia: the strange and chilling journey of the Tromp family. It began on an ordinary morning at their peaceful farmhouse, surrounded by rolling fields and the quiet hum of rural life, but inside those walls unease was brewing. Something had changed. Without warning, the family of five, Mark, his wife Jacoba, and their three adult children, packed their silver SUV in haste. No one understood why. They left behind their phones, credit cards, and all sense of normality. As they drove away from their home in Sylvan, an eerie silence filled the car. Every mile stretched longer, every turn felt heavier. Fear had taken the wheel. The road stretched endlessly into the Australian countryside, long, empty, and unsettlingly quiet. Mark's hands gripped the steering wheel tightly, his eyes darting to the rearview mirror as though being followed by something unseen. The family exchanged anxious looks, whispering questions that no one dared to answer. At a lonely gas station, they stopped briefly. The scene was tense: no words, no smiles. They bought only a few supplies before driving off again. The daughter, Rihanna, secretly reached for her phone, trying to call for help, but the others noticed. The air thickened with paranoia. They believed someone was after them, a mysterious force watching, tracking, controlling. The open road wound through thick forests and empty plains, the SUV cutting through dust and uncertainty. Mark's fear grew stronger, and soon arguments erupted. Confusion, distrust, and panic filled the car until one of the daughters could no longer take it. She stepped out, walking away into the unknown, her figure shrinking against the endless landscape. Night fell. The headlights of the SUV pierced through darkness, illuminating only trees and shadows. The once united family was fracturing under invisible pressure. They believed they had to run, but from what? No one could explain. By dawn, the mother was found sitting alone by the roadside, disoriented, trembling, and terrified. The car was gone. Her family had splintered in every direction. The once quiet and content Tromp household had turned into a real-life nightmare of confusion and fear. As news broke, police began setting up checkpoints. Reports of a missing family spread across the region. But the deeper they searched, the stranger the story became. A family that had everything: love, success, stability, had vanished into chaos within hours. What drove them to flee? Was it a shared delusion, a hidden threat, or something far darker lurking beneath their minds? The road that began as an escape would soon unravel into one of Australia's most baffling mysteries, where logic failed and madness took its place. Stay with us as the mystery deepens in Chapter 2. Lost on the open road, the vanishing begins. The search for the Tromp family had begun, but by the time the police were alerted, the family was already scattered across miles of the Australian countryside. Their silver SUV was now a ghostly figure on empty highways, winding through farmlands, mountains, and thick forest roads. As the sun rose, one daughter managed to escape the chaos. Exhausted and frightened, she reached a nearby town, trying to make sense of what had happened. Her story shocked the locals. She spoke of her family fleeing from an invisible danger, of her father's growing paranoia, and of voices warning them to hide. Something had broken inside their minds. Meanwhile, back on the road, the rest of the family continued their frantic journey. Mark drove with unblinking focus, his eyes scanning the mirrors, convinced they were being followed. The silence inside the car was unbearable, broken only by heavy breathing and the sound of tires grinding against gravel. The open road stretched endlessly, vast, lonely, and terrifying. In a moment of desperation, another daughter decided to separate. She couldn't take the fear anymore. She stepped out of the car on a deserted roadside and began walking away, her footsteps fading into the wind. One by one, the family was unraveling, just like their minds. As night fell again, the SUV's headlights sliced through the pitch-black forest. The once calm father was now consumed by panic, muttering to himself, convinced they were being tracked. His wife pleaded for him to stop, but his fear had already turned to obsession. Somewhere deep in the night, they abandoned the car. Morning light revealed a haunting sight. The Tromp family's SUV sat on a dirt track, doors flung open, belongings scattered inside, passports, papers, clothes, but no people. It was as if they had simply vanished into thin air. Police soon arrived, their flashing lights painting the empty road in red and blue. Reporters gathered, helicopters circled overhead, and search teams fanned out across the fields. The once unknown Tromp family had now become the center of a nationwide mystery. One daughter was found first, confused but alive. She couldn't explain why they ran or what they feared. Then the son appeared wandering through farmland covered in dirt, eyes vacant, lost in his thoughts. He spoke slowly, barely making sense like someone waking from a nightmare. Each discovery raised more questions than answers. Locals joined the search, whispering rumors about cults, conspiracies, and mental breakdowns. What could drive a normal, happy family to abandon everything and run without reason? From the air, the search looked vast, endless plains, rivers, and forests hiding clues to a psychological storm no one could understand. The deeper the search teams looked, the clearer it became this was not just a disappearance. It was a descent into something darker, something that gripped every member of the Tromp family in silent terror. And soon, the final piece of the mystery would emerge when the father, Mark Tromp, was found in a place no one expected. Stay with us as the truth surfaces in Chapter 3. The Fractured Mind, Truth Behind the Tromp Mystery. Days had passed since the Tromp family vanished, leaving behind a trail of confusion and fear that spread across Australia. Search teams combed the countryside, helicopters scanned from above, and locals whispered theories of cults, conspiracies, and madness. But the truth, when it came, was far more unsettling, a story not of outside evil, but of something that had grown within. In the cold light of morning, the police found what was left of the Tromp family's journey. Jacoba Tromp, the mother, was discovered wandering aimlessly near a small town, barefoot, disoriented, and terrified. She didn't know where her husband was. Her eyes were hollow, her voice trembling as she whispered, "He's still hiding, he thinks they're watching." The search intensified, every lead led deeper into the vast farmlands. Every report of movement turned into a new hope. Officers questioned locals, searching barns, abandoned sheds, and remote properties. Finally, one call changed everything. A farmer reported strange noises coming from his shed. When police arrived, flashlights cut through the darkness, revealing a lone figure crouched in the corner. It was Mark Tromp. His face was gaunt, his eyes filled with fear, clutching his hands together as if trying to hold onto reality. He believed his family had been poisoned, tracked, and manipulated by unseen forces. The terror that began in his mind had consumed them all. One by one, the remaining family members were found and reunited. But it wasn't the joyous reunion people expected. It was fragile, filled with confusion and quiet heartbreak. Doctors called it a shared psychotic episode, a rare condition where delusion spreads from one person to another through emotional bonds. The Tromps had experienced what psychologists later described as folia famia, the madness of a family. Their ordeal left the nation speechless. How could such a close, loving family lose touch with reality so completely? Experts suggested stress, isolation, and exhaustion may have triggered it, but no single answer could explain the depths of their shared fear. In the aftermath, the Tromps withdrew from public view, trying to piece together their lives again. The father, once a respected farmer, became the symbol of a mystery that defied logic. Their story was not one of crime or violence, but of the fragile line between sanity and fear, and how easily it can blur when trust breaks down. As investigators closed the case, the land itself seemed to swallow the echoes of their journey. The roads they traveled grew quiet again, the forests still, the farmhouse standing alone in silence. But for those who followed the mystery, one haunting truth remained: sometimes the most terrifying journeys don't lead away from home, they begin inside the mind. And as the sun set over the lonely Australian countryside, the Tromp family's silver SUV sat abandoned, half buried in dust, a chilling reminder of how reality can slip away when fear becomes the driver. This was the Tromp family's road trip, a journey into the unknown and into the darkest corners of the human mind.